What is Karakalak everyone? This is Renelzy coming back at you with another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we will be talking about who the best characters are design-wise for Quantum. Like I said, I'm not including any free characters. I mean, I know you'll see Archer in the top right though, so maybe we'll break that this time, we'll see. Of course, do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll keep growing the channel. And without further ado, let us get right into it. So first off, Archer is the first one. I know he's free, but he's a collab character, so I feel like it's a tidbit different, like a little different. I get that he's free to play, but his power shouldn't be understated because he's really freaking strong, and I think that matters. He's the best single target in the game right now as well. That's another reason. I don't know if he'll win the best DPS per se, but he'll win best single target DPS by default. Maybe we do a cop out with this one because Quantum has a lot of characters in there that are really good right now, but Archer for 100% is going to be one of those characters where we're just going to be using him for a long time, especially because I want to hit him with E2, and plus, I mean, I'm a mega big Fate fan. If I can get my Fate characters in a different game, I'm gonna do that. Hopefully we can get E6 and Art and Saber before they leave, but I don't know, we'll see. I want to get Archer to E2 at the very least. Time will tell. Alphabetically, next would be Castoris, and I think she just might straight up win the best DPS because as nice and good and awesome as single target characters are, this game is kind of a lot more like Fate Grand Order, where most of the enemies in this game, or most of the fights, are going to be based around multi-target. So that's whether it be blast focused for 3 targets or AoE focused, which, you know, 5 targets. I believe that's the most is 5 on the field at once. Castoris is also just the Remembrance. Big Laser the most. Not even close. And like I said, this game's mostly structured around, at least as far long as I've been around. You guys let me know it, you know, you day one players, of course. To my knowledge, it's always been like multi-target characters like Blast and AoE have been better for longer. Also, just most of the content tends to be focused around that, so I kind of sways me in the direction that Castoris right here is supposed to be the character that we are going to put in there, but we'll have to see who else is here. But I'm thinking it's either for DPS, we're either going to be talking about Castoris or Archer, and I don't really know if it's really close after that. Now we get into Cypher, who I think is really good. So she's a side grade to Tribby, right? But guess what Tribby is? Best support in the game, basically, and she's a side grade to that. Are we gonna say that's bad? No, because if you call Cypher bad or not amazing, what does that make Tribby? Eh? Exactly. So obviously she's like a little bit more, the word, she's a little bit less universal, but like that doesn't really matter because she's really universal overall. Debuffs in these types of games tend to always be really strong, and that's, you know, her role. She might win support, or maybe she won't, we'll see. Ushuin is going to be our sustain for this. I think that's actually the only Quantum sustain that we have that's even remotely relevant right now. Yeah, it's Fushuin. We don't have her on this account, of course. I don't even know if I'll build her either, to be honest, because 4.0 is coming out. We're picking up Aventurine. Pretty sure we will. I won't have his cone, but I mean, it's Aventurine. Am I gonna not get my favorite dude for free? Probably gonna pick him up. It's either that or I'm getting Kafka, or who's the last one? Sparkle. Again, but that's a little off topic. As you guys probably know by now, I tend to go off topic whether I want to or not. That's just how my brain works. Jade is next. I mean, she's good. I don't know, I'd really say she's in an amazing spot, but she's in a pretty good spot. With an Axa though, she's not exactly useful as much as she was before. So, oh well on that. Lynx, I mean, if you're not in the early part of the game, you're probably not using Lynx Because if you've been playing since D.4 like myself, right? You have a Gallagher and you have... I mean, you should have a Gallagher by now, right? He's been on Banner. If you don't have him by now, that's kind of crazy. So you either have a Gallagher... If you start at the D.4, you have a Don Hong as well. That's 2 characters, and for most of the stuff in endgame, that's gonna be good enough for you to clear, right? Even if you don't have one of... Like, let's say you don't have Gallagher by some stretch, and you get Hyacine. Guess what? You just upgraded, right? So your sustains are kind of covered. Obviously, Anomaly Arbitration, but if you started at that time frame like myself, you're not ready for Anomaly Arbitration anyway. You need a lot of teams, a lot of investment. That's just not... I don't think it's possible to have... Maybe it is. I don't know. You start in D.4, maybe it's possible because you have the Casteries core. Point is, if you have those 2 and you start in D.4 like me, you're in a good spot. Lynx doesn't really have a spot. That's my point. Jin Shui is also not in the conversation, but she is a quantum character. She's a 4-star, so that's kind of all we need to say there. She's a 4-star DPS. Like, she's not really going to be as good. Sela is also one of the ones we'll be talking about, but again, are you taking Sela or are you taking the free archer who is like, you know, what, 3 to 4 times better than her, maybe even more? Really sad the state she's in. Hopefully they buff her soon. Supposedly she's going to get some Nova Flares at some point. I heard 4.2 potentially. You didn't hear that from me though. So that would be pretty cool if they did that. I don't know if she's going to be as good or better than Archer, but if she even gets up to a spot that's near that, she's going to be in great hands. She kind of needs a lot though. I think it's just like the relic of the past thing where she just doesn't have as much stuff in her kit, so hopefully they give her a lot of really good stuff, because I think Nova Flares, honestly, some characters get off better than others, but how it has been in general is that the character comes back into the meta. They might not be like top 1, the best option ever, but the fact that they're even usable in this is enough. And it's not like they can't just Nova Flare a character again. There's no reason that they can't just be like, oh yeah, Nova Flare part 2, this character. They could probably do that, and they probably will as the game progresses. So I'm happy to see what they might do for her later. Silverwolf. I mean, Silverwolf's really universal. He is really universal. If you're like me and you enjoy letting anyone toughness reduce on your team, so like I have her on my Saber team right now. I mean, I should probably have Tribby there instead because I have Tribby built now, but Silverwolf was in that slot for a long time, and she still is technically because I have to put Tribby on the team still, but Silverwolf is just very universal. I like the ability to just bring whoever the heck I want, and you can infuse the weakness, and then my DPS can reduce the toughness. Very useful. He's supposedly a little worse than Cypher. I wouldn't really know though, but they feel like they're maybe a little closer in power than people are saying. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's not like I have Cypher to freaking say yes or no, but Silverwolf has been doing really well for me so far, and she doesn't even have an energy rope on mine. She doesn't have one. Also, she's E0 and she's doing really freaking well. That's another thing. Like, I don't have her in a really great setup, and she's doing really well. I'm sure Saber's doing some of the heavy lifting there because she's E2, but the fact that we're getting the numbers we're getting with Silverwolf, I feel like that's very impressive for an E0 character that came out in year 1. I know she got buffed, but still, we're kind of... She's a year 1 character, and she's E0 for us. I think that's very impressive. Sparkle. Ooh, Sparkle. So, he's going to be getting a Nova Flare really soon. I can say this with confidence because, you know, it's happening. He's going to get some really good stuff, dude. I'm excited to see. I mean, I know a little bit about what she gets, but I'm kind of saving it a little bit as a surprise, so I'll be able to figure out exactly what it is that she gets. We actually pulled her. I think she was the first 5-star that we have on the account. I think it was either her or Sunday. Let me double check that real quick. Okay, it was her. Sunday was on the 14th and she's on the 12th. Yeah. Pure curiosity. Does it say? Okay. And I know for a fact that it's Sparkle because I pulled the supports before I pulled the DPSs, so 7-12, not bad. Yeah, she's gonna get really freaking good though. As it is right now, I don't think I'm gonna put her as the best support, but honestly, after her Nova Flare buff, there could be a conversation for her being the best support in this slot. But there's a lot of supports in this slot, so it's kind of just like pick your favorite. Go ahead, pick your favorite. That beat. And then we have the trio of the Passage Titan. Ruby. They've been the best support in the game since they've released, and I want to say that really hasn't changed. I want to say they're probably still better than Sparkle, so that's awesome if you have them. Even if you don't have them, yeah, you're smart and you don't have a Sparkle, and you want to, you know, have a strong support, you're gonna get Sparkle. But Triby is nuts, dude. I haven't even really invested in them that much yet. Like that, you guys are seeing this. I have both of these at 8s and one at 9. Their traits aren't even max, and they're doing really good for us. Freaking crazy trio. My favorite, by the way. You can like whichever one you like though. But Triby is freaking nuts, dude. Kind of crazy that she's as universal as, or they are rather. And then last we got Jui Yi, but again, 4-star DPS, not really much in the conversation for best, really. I do see, here's the problem now, right? Because now that we're gonna rank, I'm between giving Archer the best DPS, and I'm also between giving Castoris the best DPS. However, like I said, this has mainly been the case since I've started, but I mean, I can peer back if I need to, or you guys that have been playing since day one and have played, you know, pretty much every patch, let me know. I feel like this game is very much like FGO, or Fate Grand Order, for those who don't really know what I'm talking about. That game is mainly based around AoE content, so if you don't have your AoE character set up, like Miss Castoris, you're going to be in a worse spot. Single target characters do find their spots, but they are not as universal as, you know, your AoE characters, and Castoris is one of those. So in lieu with that, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Y'all let me know in the comments. I'm gonna put Castoris as the best DPS. Maybe that's a little cop-outy, but I mean, she's the Remembrance carry, and she's been blazed to freaking heaven and hell itself, so that kind of matters, you know? If not her, then I gotta give it to Archer, because Archer is the best single target character in the game right now, and that's gonna stay true at least until 4.0. 4.1 Asheville might be coming out. I mean, we just got him drip teased. So there's a good chance that he'll be better than Archer, and I mean, it would honestly make sense that he would be. He's also a hunt character, and he's lightning, so that's another thing. If he's not better than Archer, that's gonna be that's gonna be crazy. Can I just say that right now? It's gonna be wild. Even if he is better than Archer, though, Archer's not gonna be worse as a result. There are fights that Archer's gonna work in that Asheville won't, in terms of like toughness breaking, right? So there's that. But single target characters, in my experience so far, have not been as useful as Blast or AoE characters, so that doesn't matter. And then for support, it's honestly kind of a hard choice, because there's so many, shapes and sizes of these supports, and a lot of them are Quantum for some reason. Quantum just seems like it's such a freaking strong element right now, though, because you got Cypher, you got Silverwolf, then you have freaking Sparkle, who's getting a buff. Even without the buff, she's still pretty good. And then you're getting Triby. That's 4 freaking supports. That's a lot. That's genuinely, you could just put the 4 of those, you could split them up and put them on 2 teams, and those teams would probably be pretty good. Especially if you run like an Ahility character. So I don't know, let's just say for whatever reason you're still running Acheron and she needs Ahility characters. You just slap Silverwolf and freaking Cypher on there, and then he's gonna be in good hands. Certainly better than Zhao Cho. Unless I'm a hater. If I'm a hater, I'm a hater, but I'm not that big of a fan of Zhao Cho. But I feel like you'd be in a better spot having Silverwolf and Cypher than you would be with Zhao Cho and whatever one of the others. I mean, support though, sustain. I can't even really give one because we don't really have a sustain. So that's. I mean, we have Fushuin, but I mean, I don't think Fushuin's existence is as big of a deal as the supports. So honestly, we're gonna go for supports here instead of sustain slot being the slot in here. I mean, it's comparable between Cypher and Tribi, but I think Tribi is the little tiny bit more universal. So I think I will actually just give it to Tribi. I mean, this is a little obvious, I feel like, if you know the meta of this game, right? Casterius and Tribi being the best DPS and then the best support just makes sense. Is it a little lame? Yeah, but that can't be understated how strong they are once they're properly set up. And if you want to say the best support is Cypher, I 100% understand, because again, it's a side grade to the best support in the game. Are we going to call the side grade to the best support in the game bad? No, because that wouldn't make sense. But if you disagree with the best DPS or the best support, let me know. And that will have to conclude our video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. And please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you can keep growing the channel. And I will catch you all in the next video. Laters.